Hey, welcome back, everybody. And, it's funny, this week, we're a little bit later on our show than normal. My hat goes off to my goddaughter, Trin, who graduated with her master's degree in education as she is a teacher. So kudos to her. Just want to send out a big virtual hug to you and say again how proud I am of you, which is super awesome. So congratulations. Anyway, let's get on with the show. So, hey, the title says, listen, you know what? Rates have been, going up just a tad bit, although they had been coming down. Mortgage applications, they started to taper off a little bit, but yet they're still better than the numbers from 2024. Let's get into that. Let's talk about some of the metrics. Let's see how real estate is doing in our area. And this way you guys can make a really good business decision. Okay, so here's the key thing. Mortgage rates probably have the biggest impact on buyers that are going to buy and sell. It doesn't matter. Even in 2008 through 2010, there were still homes that were being purchased. And, real estate was still happening. Again, but just on a slower level. It doesn't mean that because, we have one economic issue or another that real estate comes to a screeching halt. That's not the case because there are still very qualified buyers. There are still qualified sellers. And so real estate itself keeps moving forward. It's kind of like time. Time does not slow down. It is hard to believe it is already July 20th. What the heck, man? Where did July go? It's just crazy. Kids are going to be getting back into school here soon, and it's just insane. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this. Now, when we pull up and we take a look at kind of the headline, they talk about how rates have been bobbling around, more horizontal than anything else. Nothing super earth-shattering. In fact, when you take a look at this slide here, you can see the refi index, which is very much in line with what mortgage rates are doing. And that is super situation normal. So have we been seeing more activity with buyers? The answer is yes. What does that mean for our real estate market? Hey, we're not making any land speed records. You're going to see that, but we're not going down. And that's the key thing. We definitely differentiate ourselves between the two, between our market and other markets out in the nation. In fact, we're still one of the 5 sweet spots across the United States. Definitely watch last week's show if you did not get a chance to take a look at that. So if we take a look at some of the articles that are out there, we talk about the one like today, rising rates hit the mortgage apps. But down below, Builder Outlook is actually starting to improve, even though they're seeing some price adjustments in certain areas, not necessarily a lot in ours. You can see that our par pricing today was 6.81. Lenders are at about 6.75, which is better than what it was a year ago. And then, of course, mortgage rates staying broadly sideways. And what does that mean? It's kind of like our real estate. We're not making any massive shifts at all. In fact, it is very flat, and it has been so for most of the year. That's why a lot of other areas, they're taking a little bit of a back seat. So if you're in Chelan, hey, that market has definitely cooled down a bit. But as rates continue to come down and with the additional inventory, although our inventory is waning just a tad bit here, we're going to see buyers come back into the market, but not at any great land speed records. It's going to be pretty flat, pretty straightforward. So if we take a look at Freddie's running 7-day averages, we can see 6.75. It's up just a hint from last week. We're at 6.72. So just a little minor difference, but yet we're still lower than we were at this time last year. So if we pop over and we take a look at the average days on market, that hasn't changed. The one significant thing, I wouldn't say overly significant, you know what? We're at 97% of list to sales price. And that one is a little bit different because as we have been seeing for the last 4 years, we've been between 99, we hit 98, but 99 to 101, 103%. So if I sell at $100,000 and if I have 103%, that means I listed at 100,000, I sold at 103,000. Here we're looking at, hey, I listed at at $100,000 and now I'm selling at 97,000. Okay. So we've seen a little bit of a pullback. Most of that is because of rate. Some of it is because of some of the economic items that are going out there. There's a little bit of employment questions that are that are out there in the tech world. Those are absolutely situation normal. We showed you guys a couple of weeks ago the 2023 numbers, which are still higher than we're at today. So again, there's just a little bit of fear out there as to employment stability, which is causing some of the buyers to hold back. Perfectly normal, right? Okay. So when we come back in, we take a look at this. And then we take a look at our running 7-day average. Listen, we had 1,171 homes that came on market. We had 1,217 homes that went off market. So technically, we had roughly 100, not quite 100, but we had more homes going pended than we had coming on market. And that's really good. That gives us a lot of assurances, when we take a look at, is this a balanced market? And that answer is yes. We are definitely more in a balanced market as we hit our 2.8 months of inventory. We are still seeing quite a bit of buyer activity. We're seeing homes that are well priced going off market still within the 7 days. If you miss that market and you head out to 20 days, immediately a seller knows they are 3 to 4% overpriced. I'm just telling you, you need to start bringing that price down. All right. Respond with the market. Remember, sellers are takers of the market and buyers are makers of the market. Buyers are going to tell you what they feel the value is. It's no different than any other sales out there, right? Anyway, just saying. All right, let's hit our chart here. So when we take a look at just the velocity, okay, we can see the. Let me blow this up for you guys. So let's look at the top one. That's the year to date. So year to date, our number of sales, or the closed sales, super close. They're just a few homes apart. Pendants are up 2.2%, which is still a really good number. And remember, the sales that we're seeing today, are from June. Okay, those are homes that went under contract in June. So if June was a little bit slower, which it was, then we're going to see closings in July, be a little bit slower. As those numbers picked up towards the end of June, we're going to see as we see the last week in July, we're going to see those numbers change since most people choose a month-end closing on average, okay? So just keep that in mind. So when we pop back here, we're going to see probably an adjustment of our solds going at a higher number because in the lower chart, you can see, sure, our June closings or June contracts, which are July closings, hey, you know what? They're down, roughly about, 280 homes-ish, about 12%. And then, on the flip side, we're 13% higher, which is basically a pretty close offset from some of the lagging numbers that we've seen. So what we're seeing then is our pendants will close and bolster those numbers. However, again, everything is in the rear view mirror when it comes to sold homes. Keep that in mind. So everything is just a lag. All right. So let's move on. Let's take a look at some of our key metrics here. Week over week, the average sold price is actually up 2,000 this week, 1,000 year to date, even though it shows in our month of July that we're down 2.1% year over year. For the same month of July, we're actually $2,000 higher than where we were at last week. Now, again, let's get into new construction. All right. So when we take a look at new construction, again, similar metrics. And, new construction, without a doubt, new construction is super, super flat. We've been seeing some prices bobbling around. There are newer plats that are being a little more aggressive, more incentives being offered. We've seen some price adjustments on certain models that, of homes that are finished, but nothing really spectacular. It's very much flat. Okay. So as we delve back into this, when we take a look at the actual numbers and we see that, oh, you know what? Yeah, we're still down 13% on sales. Pendage, oh, sure. Yeah, they're down almost 16%. That's what it's been, I would say, since February, March. Then when we take a look at the month to date, we're off 134 homes for the month of July as far as solds. Again, those are June numbers. And then, of course, we're off 16 homes. We're higher, I should say, 16 homes more for the month of July, year over year, than where we were at last year. So our numbers that we'll start to see in August will actually be a little bit better because June was suffering a little bit, and that is seasonally normal. Not worried about it. Just keep that in mind. All right. Now, let's pop over. Let's take a look at what we've been seeing for pricing. The same month, last week, we were $4,000 higher than we were at this week. Year to date, they're up $1,000 more as far as a sold price. So this month, again, because of June numbers, they're suffering just a little bit as far as their average sold price. Now, if we head over and we take a look at bank-owned homes, again, super, super limited number of homes out there. Look, they're just suffering. Look, it says here we have an 80% increase in sold properties. That's 8 homes. And it says, look at that. So we're at 92%. We're almost 100% more pended homes, for the month of July. Well, that's 12 homes. That's peanuts. So again, remember, little tiny numbers, you double a little tiny number. It looks impressive, but it's really not. Okay. So here's the thing. Bank-owned homes are not a great investment because if you're looking for a discount, I should say, because the banks go in, they do paint, carpet, and vinyl, and they make them a really great home again. People go and buy them. There's no reason. We do not have enough inventory, to say, hey, we need to start, slashing prices because that's not happening, nor should we, because we are still, again, on a very flat, I would say, trajectory, but slightly just above flat. Not by much, but just enough to keep us rolling. As we continue to expect and see, Q4 with mortgage rates coming down into the 6.5, 6.25. If they hit 6.25, there's going to be a lot of buyer activity out there, hands down. Okay, a lot of refi activity, hands down, is going to happen. So keep that in mind as we're looking at different things. In the meantime, if you have any questions, post them down below. Hey, tell me that you like the channel. Subscribe if you would. This way you get updated when these videos come out. There's no marketing here. It's all ad hoc. So we get, really fresh information every single week. So you can make the best business decision for you and your family. In the meantime, have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.